Hi all, very good morning. Welcome everyone to Bangalore Goa co-hosted meetup. Today's topic is going to be MuleSoft for AgentForce, Topic Center and API Catalog. Next slide. I would like to thank everyone whoever joined this session and make it possible. Next. Yeah, today's agenda is going to be introduction, MuleSoft for AgentForce, and deep dive into Topic Center and API Catalog. And of course, the end of session will get the demo as well. And before moving to the session, we'll discuss a safe harbor statement. So both the speaker and the host are organizing this meetup in the individual capacity only. We are not representing our companies here. And this representation is strictly for learning purpose only. And organizer or presenter do not hold any responsibility that a same solution will work on your business requirement. And this presentation is not meant for any promotional activities. And when it comes to leaders or organizer, so we have Bangalore and Goa meetup leaders here, Nitish, Jyoti, Sham, Pranav, Abhishek, and Vandana from Bangalore MuleSoft meetup group, and myself, Vandana, and Vinay Kumar from Goa MuleSoft meetup. And these are few housekeeping points we need to note down. A recording of the group will be uploaded in event page within 24 hours. And I would like to encourage all to ask questions if you have any doubts or concern in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and you can ask the question. And share your feedback after the session, so it will help us to uh, um, understand like what and all topics we need for the next session, and what and all we need to improve ourselves. And we have our beloved speaker Vandana KV. She's from Salesforce. So over to you, Vandana. You can introduce yourself to audience and go ahead. Thank you.
Hey, thanks Vandana for the amazing startup. So, hey everyone, welcome to the session. And I'm Vandana KV, working as a technical consultant at Salesforce. I have approx 6 years of total experience and 3.5 plus years into MuleSoft and Salesforce domain. And I was recognized as one of the top mentors in 2024, and also a leader for the Bangalore Meetup group. So, hope you all have some key takeaways today from the session. So, let's get started. Okay. So we all know what is the fastest thing on the earth right now, right? It's people exploring AI and becoming an AI expert. But how did it all start? It all started with the predictive AI, which was morely into machine learning, and then we had the co-pilots coming in the wave 2. These co-pilots were like a game changer, and they had a major transition in the AI world since they incorporated the natural language. And currently, since all of you are aware, we are in wave 3, which is predominantly about autonomous agents who can perform tasks, take decisions on their own, and almost work like humans. And they are making a big impact in the real world applications today. AgentForce. I think we all have been hearing to this term a lot, right? Ever since the last Dreamforce. You can think of it like an agentic layer. And Salesforce introduced this AgentForce to make AI approachable for everyone, like the customers, to get started with the autonomous agents. Like they can use it for the lead scoring or order management or the customer services as well. So with Agent Force, all we can say is humans along with the agents are driving the better productivity today. These agents can go through your requests, execute, then take actions, automate your workflows, do everything on their own without almost no human intervention. But even these agent force to perform all these actions, they do require some third party systems or access to them, right? For example, if you take a customer service agent, your agent might require access to your inventory to check the stock availability or things like that. And similarly, if you consider a sales agent, you might need access to the system to sync up with real time data, contacts, or any user related informations. And the marketing agents, they require access to your campaign management tool to track all your campaign related details. And while we come to the commerce agents, they also need access to the supply chain details to get the latest updates on the shipping or availability. So it does not stop here, right? You can expand it across various domains and systems. So we might be wondering, right? Like we muleys, how do we fit into this agentic era? So with this ever fastly evolving AI, there comes challenges imbibing them. So as per the latest connectivity benchmark of 2025, 95% of the IT leaders report that integration has become a huge hurdle for them to implement AI effectively. So integration is what we muleys are good at, right? And this is the main reason why we should get excited about Agent Force. Okay. So not just this, right? I told you that there are challenges that come up while we are incorporating new things. So the main challenges with agents are they don't know how to leverage our APIs or access them directly. And if they do access, they don't know how to take it in a controlled or a secured way. So all we need to understand that agents can access only to the information that they are exposed to. So they do not know how they can leverage any APIs. Also, we need to understand that what kind of data is being shared with the agents, what is coming in or what is going out of the agents. Like we need to be very careful, right, about our privacy, security, and compliance. We need to even check what these APIs, where these APIs are located, how do we manage these versions, and the different operations involving Agent Force. So all these in a practical world might seem overwhelming, right? But the next question is, how do we do this in a secured way? So this is possible only by bringing all the APIs and agents together. This is basically like creating a bridge between your autonomous agents and the data and the systems which are actually involved in taking actions, like basically your third party applications, right? So this is where MuleSoft becomes absolutely essential. We can say with MuleSoft, we are not only empowering connectivity, which is of course its primary function, but also we are trying to bring in intelligent automation across the business by helping these agents access these third party applications in a secure, governed, and scalable manner using our API catalog and the topic center. So let's first understand what are these topics, actions, and instructions. So topics are something which help us communicate with the agents. Like these are some things which are fueled with actions and instructions. Each topic will contain at least one action that has to be performed. Like the action tell us what is the role of agent, what is the task that they need to perform, and then we have something called instructions. When we extend agents' ability to include third party applications, it becomes very crucial, right? To provide very specific, clear instructions like how the agent has to behave and what is the outcome. So, here is where we provide all our guidelines and the guardrails so that the agents do not hallucinate. Hallucination is mainly based on the data that is fed and the instructions, right? So we have to be very clear on what instructions and guidelines that we are providing here. So basically instructions are something which we provide so that our agents behave in a very effective way. So how do we start this? Like there are four main steps that we need to perform to get started with this agent API specification. Like as MuleSoft developers, we have always followed, right, the design first approach. So here as well, we would be starting it from the design. All we have to do is design in a perspective that this API will be further consumed by an agent. So all of you know that this can be performed only using our anypoint code builder. Yeah, so this can be performed only using our anypoint code builder, which is like a unified platform where we can find all the tools at one place. So once you design and publish your API, then the next step is to connect it to the system that needs to use it. So this is where we ensure that our API is conformant. So what is API conformant and how do we test that? I will explain further while we are looking at the demo. For now, just consider or let's understand just the basic steps that are involved. So if your API is not conformant, then the agents will not be able to use this. So once everything is ready and we are sure that this is following all the safety rules, then the next step would be to consume it. So this brings us to a topic called the API catalog. So this is how an API catalog looks. And earlier, it was very difficult for the Salesforce developers to track all these APIs, whether it is from MuleSoft, Salesforce, or any external systems. They did not have any place where they could see all the APIs at one place. And now, with the API catalog, we have everything at one place, which makes it more a controlled and a unified platform to manage their APIs. And the best thing is, you might have already seen, right? Like while you're building your first agent with MuleSoft, you had to add the named credentials and then establish a connectivity between Salesforce and MuleSoft, and there was some extra steps that had to be performed. But with API catalog, all of these become seamless. You can just convert these once your APIs are available here in the API catalog. In minutes, you can convert them to topics, and in just few steps, you can add them to your agent and start using them. And the final step is to manage. So you need to monitor, right, if the things are going well, if the API is working as expected. So you will have to govern and manage your APIs as well. So with this, now I'll straight away go to the demo. But before that, if anybody has any questions, please let me know in the chat so that we can discuss further. I'll just wait for a minute to see if we have any questions.
Vandana, only ACB will work, or we can use Studio as well.
Nitish, I'll explain in the demo
Okay.
why ACB is required here.
So, like, I don't have access to ACB, but we do use ACB in VS Code with extensions. Will the same, or is there any
Correct. It is
difference?
the same. It is the same.
Okay.
So you don't need any extra specific subscriptions or anything for this. Your trail account should work.
I mean, I know trial will work, but with VS Code also it work, right? With
Yes, yes, yes,
extensions.
yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay. If no questions, then let's go to the demo. So for the demo, right, all you would need is a trail account, and you would need a developer edition trial account as well from the Salesforce. So this would give you access to AgentForce and Data Cloud as well. So the first step being, let's go to our Salesforce account. Let's go to the setup and enable Einstein. Einstein setup. So yes, I will enable Einstein, and then I will go to my agents and also enable AgentForce. Also, I will enable this so that I have a default agent that is created. Okay. So now once we have this, now I will show you why we need to use ACB. Like if you go to the normal design center and start designing, right? When you try to create an API specification, you don't see any specific options here to add agentic options. Correct. Now let me switch to
Yes.
ACB. And now here, make sure you have connected your ACB to your AnyPoint platform. And then here, when you click on design an API, you can see this option. Enable this API for agent topics and actions. So this is why we will have to use ACB.
I think
I'll
it's
just,
there. Sorry for interrupting. I
Mhm.
think it's there in Design Center. Can you open?
Okay,
Okay.
yes,
Yeah. Just create a dummy. Yeah.
okay.
Create API
Mhm.
and where are we?
Mhm.
Yeah. So in the uh, I think the third one or second one. Can you just click on the no, the buttons? Yeah.
The exchange, and then this is dependencies.
Yeah. Here in the rule set, you can add that. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
plus. Yeah. Plus.
Mhm.
Yeah. From here you can. Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. So this is something new for me as well. Yeah,
Sure.
so you can do it from here also. Okay, but meanwhile, I will try to do it from here. So one more thing that we need to keep in mind, whenever you're doing this API topics or enabling this API for agentic actions and topics, it is always OS or YAML. I mean, it is YAML or JSON and OS3 alone. Like if I remove this check, you can see that there are various other options available as well. But with this enabled, it's either OS3 YAML or JSON. So I will just start this. I will make this as a, I'm trying to do a hotel reservation API. So I'll just give the same name and create. So now you can see that when I have created, you get this tags added like the agent, then the topic name, the classification dependency, the scope, and the instructions. Also, you can add them here by copy pasting your details. When you add them, it shows up here. And this is the dependency which Nitish was mentioning, right? The API topics and actions. So these are some rule sets that are defined by MuleSoft so that this API can be used for an agent. Like we have this exchange document published which defines all the rule sets that we want, like how should the topic name be added, how should the instructions be added, everything is listed here. I'll put this link in the chat so that you guys can go through it. And I already have an API ready, so I'll just copy paste this to my specification. Yeah, before I do that, right, I'll just run this rule set just to show you a small idea like how they work. So now you can see that this failed. You guys know why it is failing? It says that it must have a valid topic name. Here I have provided a topic name, but still it is failing because it has this hyphens. As per the rules, it should have only underscore. Now if I run this, it should work. Oh, still there is something else that failed. Okay, since I don't have not added anything much, probably it's failing, but let me just go ahead and paste my API. So now you can see that I have added my topic name, I have added my description, and also I have given my instructions. Everything that I want my agent to have, I am giving it right here at the beginning in my API specification. So once you have your API ready, now you can just run your rule set. And now you see that there is no errors, right? So now that I have everything ready here, I can publish it to the exchange. But before that, if you see, we have two different endpoints like the reservation and then reservation ID, get reservations with the reservation ID. And you can see that for each of them, we have added tags, which mentions that you can publish this agent as an action or not, like this particular resource. So you can even set them false. Like if you want only one particular endpoint to be exposed as an agent action, so you can specify that here accordingly. So, okay. So let me now go ahead and publish this to Exchange. I'll just give the version v1 and publish. So this clearing all these rules is what we meant by conformant. Like if everything is passed, then it says that it is conformant with the standards or the rule sets. But suppose if your API is not conformant, what happens? Let me go back to my exchange. So I can see my API is published here. But you see that it is not conformant and you don't see any end points at all. So this is what happens when your API is not conformant. You will not be able to see any resource points or resources here, and your agents will not be able to use it. So I know what mistake I've made. I have not saved this. So now I have saved it and I would be publishing it again. So I'll just make this asset version as 1.0.1 and publish it again. Okay, so now it's published. Let me refresh this. So now you can see the version is 1.0.1. Okay, it takes some time, I believe. Let me just refresh it again. So yeah, now you can see it is conformant, which means that it is ready to be consumed by an agent or used in an agent. So now you can see, right, the two endpoints that I have added. Earlier, when it was not conformant, it was not visible, but now you have these here. And also you can see that these two tags are automatically added to this while we publish it. Okay, so this is with respect to our API specification. So what is the next step we usually do? Scaffold it and put it into our code, right? I have already done that. So I have just scaffolded this and I have added one dummy record so that every time we make a call, we get this response back. Like you need to have an implementation, right? And then the next step would be creating an API manager for this. So let's go ahead and create an API manager so that we can add an auto discovery ID. So I'll do select the API, and you can see here also it shows confirmant. For now, I will leave this instance label and then the upstream URL blank, but we will have to come back and update this once we deploy our code into the runtime manager. So I'll click on save, and now we have an API instance ID. So I'll just come back here, I'll update this auto discovery ID. Just export this.
One question: you can directly deploy it from here, right, to any point exchange,
Yes, yes, you can,
public.
you can deploy it. I think I have configured my other ID. Let me just add this. Okay. So now I can deploy it Cloud Hub right from here. Just making sure if it is in the right one. Yes. So I will leave all of these as it is. Then in the properties, I will come here and I will just copy this. Go to my access management and get my client ID secret. And yes, you should be good to deploy it from here as well. So since this is time taking, I will just go back to my other account where I have already deployed and show it to you. We can come back here once it is deployed, or let me just see. Okay, let's just wait here for a couple of minutes. Meanwhile, you guys can let me know if you have any other questions or anything. Also, this is one more page. Um, I think 1 second. This is not the one. I had one more page. Yes. So here, this is one more documentation provided by MuleSoft, which helps us in understanding the API topics and the agent actions, like how you have to do and what is the metadata that you will have to add for making it an agentic ready API. So I'll just put this as well in the chat as a reference for all of you. Oh,
Hello.
yes, Lakshmi.
Yeah, I have one doubt. So this agentic thing, it is specific to Salesforce, or this API will connect to any other third-party AI agents also?
I think as of now it is specific to Salesforce, right? Sham and Nitish, maybe you can add on.
Yeah, sorry, I missed. What was the question?
No, actually, I have some doubt. So this agentic API, which we are building in MuleSoft, for now it is specific to Salesforce. But if we want to connect to any third-party AI agents, is it the same process, or is the feature available or not?
Okay, so when you say external, like not AgentForce, so you it's the same way. We have our APIs and we can leverage them with third-party applications.
Like, yeah, you can expose them as an API, like how we normally do our MuleSoft APIs, right?
Yeah.
Like that is still
Okay.
possible.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay.
But
So
this
when we, yeah,
integration with Salesforce is made seamless due to this topic center and API catalog. API catalog
Okay.
and topic center comes to picture only when it is with Agentforce.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yes. Thank you.
Okay,
Okay.
one question. Sorry.
Mhm.
So the same API can be used as a means normal API as well as it can be used by AgentForce also, correct?
Correct,
Means
correct.
if I enable this API as a topic enabled or AgentForce enabled, this API still can be consumed as a normal API by some other consumer also.
Yes. Like,
Okay, okay.
you can just take a look at this particular API only. This is deployed. I will just bring this up. Just a minute. Let me just fetch the ex- client credentials for this. Yeah, I have enabled client ID for this, so it's just asking for the client credentials. So if you see, right, this is the API that we had deployed. And if I go ahead and hit this, I'm still getting the response. So you can still use it like any other API.
So with this additional configuration, it's just like that sales agent force integration with this API becomes simpler. That's
Correct.
what we are achieving with this enablement. Okay. Understood.
Yes.
Thank you.
So,
Yeah.
okay. So we saw that our application is deployed to Cloud Hub and we have a Cloud Hub URL, right? So when we are connecting this API to the what do you say, to Salesforce, when it is called, the agent would look back to this implementation URL from the API manager. So it's very important that once we deploy this, we will have to go back to our API manager and add the implementation URL there. So here I have added the URLs already. So now we have everything ready from our MuleSoft API perspective. Like we have deployed our code, we have the implementation URL, we have the API manager ready and it is connected. So now we will have to go back to our Salesforce. So how do we connect our MuleSoft and Salesforce applications?
Okay, I have a question. Like earlier, if you want to connect with Salesforce from MuleSoft, so you we used to connect through the Salesforce composite connector and all, right?
Correct. So
Uh,
now everything is made seamless. So you need not have to worry about that at all. So what you have to do is you can go to access management and there is an option called Salesforce that is added newly. So if you come here, this is one of the org that I already have. I can add my another org. So I have to copy paste my org tenant key. So how will I get that? Now if I go back to my setup and search for any point platform. So you can see that there is any point platform setup, right? And here you have view connection info. And this is your Salesforce or key. So I'll just copy this, come back here and paste it.
Hey, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
We seem to be stuck on this screen actually, global configuration. Am I missing something there?
Is
Oh,
it stuck for everybody or just
it's
him?
been like that for quite some time now.
Can anybody confirm if it is stuck for everyone?
No,
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 no.
no. You can see the latest X management.
You can see my Anypoint platform, right, where I have added my
Yes,
Salesforce
yes,
on.
yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
We can see
It's
your
fine.
cursor moving.
Oh, okay.
You
Probably,
can click on the play button. I think in between for me also it was paused. So try
Uh-huh.
clicking on that screen.
Or maybe you can rejoin it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Rejoin.
last option.
Okay, so while I've already interrupted you, can you help me understand where it connects to the database? Say, for example, if it's a hotel management or
Correct.
whatever.
So we are mainly using our MuleSoft API, right? Like for now, I have replaced that with a transform message, which gives a fixed component or a fixed message. There you can implement it by connecting it to a third party application.
Any system API, or if you wish, you can use the connector and you can connect to any DB
Correct.
in your process API, or if you have system API, process API to system API. It's an implementation. How you do. It's only with the Salesforce. They are showing how you can connect with your AgentForce. So if you talk about connectors, yeah, you can use any database connector and you can have your data there.
Okay, understand. I'm new to the platform and I'm also new partner to Salesforce, just trying to understand these products, bunch of products, were quite interesting ones. Thanks for whoever suggested. I don't know where I hit, but it had been paused. Now I figured out how to get it running. Now I have the new screen there, the latest screen.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so now I have copy pasted my Salesforce tenant key or the org key.
Okay.
I can just give any name. I will just give this and I'll click on add. And now you can see we have got an Anypoint platform org key. So now what we have to do is we have to copy this, go back to Salesforce and paste it here. So it is like a two-way connectivity. We are exchanging keys to connect both the platforms. So now you can see, right, the MuleSoft connection Salesforce was created. And here,
Can you please show this last step one more time, please? I missed it. Where do you copy this new key?
okay, so I'm not sure if I can go back to that screen, but here you can copy it. But in the Salesforce, it would show like once you click on add connection, right, it would show you your Salesforce org ID and a placeholder where you can paste your Anypoint platform org key.
Okay, I mean, where we get this Anypoint org key, that point I missed actually, only that screen.
Oh, okay, okay. So once you click on this add Salesforce, right? Add Salesforce org, and you paste your Salesforce org tenant key here and click on add, it opens up a window which shows your Anypoint platform org key.
If you miss
Okay,
to
yeah,
copy it,
thank you.
can you get it anywhere else?
Sorry.
If you miss to copy, can you get it from anywhere, or the one
So
that's the only time you can?
I think that's the only time. Correct me, Sham or Litish. Can we get it anywhere else?
No, no, no. Go to the
Yeah,
Salesforce.
you can get it from here, right? Like actions, and then get your Anypoint platform org key.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
So you can get it from here. Okay, so now that it is connected, I just want to enable this so that enable it for my specific business group, and also I will come back to this here and enable this so that my platform I mean, Salesforce and MuleSoft can exchange invocable actions, and also we can enable Einstein for MuleSoft Anypoint platform. So I'll do this. And now if you come back and just refresh this, So now you can see, right? Since we have enabled it on Salesforce, here also it is visible. So this is how we get the connectivity between your MuleSoft org and the Salesforce org.
Uh, One question. So, how the accesses are managed here?
So
Means,
that we will come during our
uh,
API catalog. So
okay, I'm talking about object level access, or with this we cannot access object and all. Okay,
so
well, till last.
here, right, you are trying to build a connectivity because you want to leverage MuleSoft APIs. And if you are using your Salesforce in any of your MuleSoft API implementation, that access is handled differently, right? Like how you would be giving or creating a connected app or
Okay,
something.
so here this connection is only that all the API of MuleSoft can be visible in Salesforce.
Correct.
Okay, so there is no additional access like any point platform getting to
Hmm.
invoke Salesforce.
Yes, yes. This is only for APIs to be available in Salesforce. That's it. MuleSoft APIs to be available here.
Okay, and it gets the data from the endpoint exchange, correct? Or
Correct.
is that okay? Okay,
So
yeah,
now you
thanks.
can see that there is nothing here, right? Because
And
we have,
and
sorry.
one more thing. So is it I have 3 4 business orgs in my Anypad platform. So
Mhm.
will everything be using those, or it's specific to that business org?
You just saw, right? Like we selected the business group that was
Okay.
available, so we can control that.
No, no, no. I'm talking in the. I mean, I'm asking about the Salesforce. Will it show all the business orgs there?
You mean here or in the
Yes,
plat?
yes, in the catalog.
In the catalog, whatever you have selected, right? Like while enabling it. While
Okay.
here, while you have created a connection, you had selected the business org, right?
Oh, in Salesforce also you are selecting.
No, no, no. But whatever you have selected here, only the APIs exposed in that org will be visible there. Not
Okay.
every.
Okay. In platform, whatever the business orgs you selected, they
Yes.
can be visible in Salesforce. Okay.
Yes.
And we can select multiple orgs, correct, Vandana?
Definitely. Yeah.
Okay, fine.
So I'll come back here. Now you can see that it is not yet synced. So when I click on start sync, it would take a couple of minutes. Let's just give it a few seconds so that it is visible here. So ideally, once you have enabled the sync, every 20 minutes this gets refreshed and keep updating all the APIs it finds with that particular tags in the exchange. Like we have seen that we have two tags added, right? Like the API catalog and the topic center. So it checks for this particular tag for both of these tags, and like every 20 minutes it keeps refreshing your API catalog on Salesforce and keep updating your APIs. So that is how we manage our versions, right? Like suppose you make some change and you have updated your exchange, but that how would that go to your API catalog? So you can refresh it manually as well, but otherwise every 20 minutes it gets refreshed.
So, okay, one question. Sorry. So only APIs with those two tags will be visible in Salesforce, not all APIs,
Correct.
not all the assets.
That is
Okay, okay.
defined in your SF API topic rule set.
Okay,
Only
okay,
those
understood.
groups are defined. Okay, so now you can see we have our API here, and it says that it is not activated and agent action is pending. That's because now we have to go ahead and activate our actions. So here you can see it is showing our AnyPoint Manager instance with the same auto discovery ID. That is why we have to add the implementation URL there, because it would be going back and calling this particular URL. So let's select this, click on continue. Takes few seconds. Okay, so here I think somebody was asking, right, how do you manage the permissions? So here for this particular API, we can manage the permission sets. So manage assignments.
So this is to allow which agent can utilize it.
Correct, correct. So I will just go ahead and select probably system admin for now. So, and you can also set the expiration time. Like if you want to just give that particular agent access just for a week, you can still go ahead and do that, or leave it as no expiration date and assign. So now this is done. Let's come back here
Yeah,
and
sorry to cut you on that one question. So this to be means consumed by this agent force, it need to be exposed by API manager. That's a mandatory step.
correct, yes, because it would be referring to your API manager instance, and it might be that you might have added few policies as well, right? You will have to manage all of those. So it should go through your API manager.
So there is no, because see, we all know API manager licenses are costly. Okay, so suppose if there are some APIs which I don't want to expose by API manager, then it cannot be consumed by agent force.
Correct, yes. You will have to expose it to API manager.
Okay, fine, thanks.
Okay, so now we can click on done, and this will activate our agent actions. So now once this is activated, you can now go to your topics. Like just click on agent assets, and if you scroll down, you can see a topic is created by default on its own. Like we did not come here or create a topic. We just activated our agent actions. So you can see the topic is created, the description is updated, the scope is updated, and all the instructions are updated. We had to do nothing at all. All we did was giving all of them while we were designing an API at the beginning.
So this will be consumed by the agent force developers whoever want to integrate particular API in their agentic actions.
Yes. So you can even see, right, even this actions are created on its own. We had to not do anything at all.
So simply like our proxy, it is
Hmm.
available. They can utilize it.
Correct. Correct. So now that we have our topic ready and the actions ready, let's go and assign this to an agent. Oh, where is this default agent? I'll just go and try this. So I'll just open this builder. So I see that there are no topics assigned to this agent. Let me just go ahead and add this hotel reservation topic. So now you can see the topic is added to the agent. It has all the instructions, then has the topic action, and we are good to start testing our agent. So I'll just give a sample prompt.
Vandana, can you just show me like from where you go to that screen?
Agent builder.
Yes, yes.
So you can click on AgentForce agents and the screen opens. You can just select any particular agent you want. So I was selecting this agent. And from here, you can click on open in builder. So this screen comes up. So now we are all good. Let's go ahead and test our agent. I would just give this. Okay. What is the error? Okay, okay. I think that's because I had enabled this client credentials. So suppose if you have added any policies, this is something which I'm still exploring on. Probably you guys can also start exploring this. I will just disable the policy for now. But yeah, so if you have added a policy, probably you will have to come back here and go to your API catalog.
Hey Vandana, this is Irfan. I have a quick question
Mhm,
regarding if we publish like any custom policy into the exchange,
mhm,
like we required any other further access required to the user to
mhm.
reflect that custom policy in the API manager.
Sorry, can you repeat again?
We have internal policies which was provided by MuleSoft.
Mhm.
Generally, what we are doing, according to the client requirement, we are creating a custom policy.
Okay. Mhm,
So when you publish into the exchange,
mhm.
sometimes we're facing some concerns like the custom policy is not reflecting in the API manager. I was expecting is there any of additional permissions required to the specific user that he can able to view the deployed custom policy in the API manager?
I'm not exactly sure on that, but you can still go ahead and try creating a custom policy right here, right? Rather than creating it in your code, you can still go ahead and create a custom policy here also, I feel. So maybe you can try to explore that part.
Mm-hmm. It's
So
fine.
yeah, coming back to this, here while you have added the details, right, like you can create a named credential and assign to this with the policy credentials that you have added. So this is something which even I am exploring. Probably all of us can do it together and come up in our next meetups, but for now I will just disable this policy. Okay, so this is disabled. Let's try to refresh this. But yeah, I think it might need a refresh in the API catalog as well. Let me just try to refresh the API catalog once. But anyways, if you could see, it is calling the right topic. While this is there, let me just try to get this up in my other org. Let me just go to the agent here. Here also you can see, right, I have already added the same API topic and the topic actions are there. I'll just try giving it here. I think this would also come up with, okay, yeah, perfect. So this gave me the response. So you can
Vandana,
see, right? Mm-hmm.
uh, if you just provide, give me the reservation details, okay, something like that text. Will the agent ask, please provide the reservation ID, something like that? Or I have to give the exact detail in one go?
I will just try that right in front of you. So it asks, right, what is the reservation ID for
Hmm.
the customer?
Right. So this it is fetching all from the description or instruction what we provided in that
Correct,
Swagger or
correct,
OAS.
correct. Yes. So it says here, right? I think
Yeah. So this instruction becomes very important when we are trying to use for any agent force because what I
definitely.
understood it is getting the data from that descriptions. The instruction it is creating from there itself, correct?
Definitely, definitely. So you can see here also, right? It is trying to build up a response.
Okay. Uh, just to stretch that question a little further, where is where does I mean how does it know that which database or which table or which columns it needs to go and validate or pull out data or update?
So when you are giving a particular reservation ID, I think you have this um, topic action which is for retrieve reservation. Like if you see the endpoint, right? It is having a reservation ID. So it is just calling this MuleSoft endpoint, giving that ID, and it is trying to retrieve the data.
No, there will be multiple. Okay, the client ID is the table name or something, or
No, no, this is the authorization part that can be ignored. But yeah, see that multiple tables or anything that is something is your business logic that is defined or implemented inside your system API, right? Or the API that you're exposing. So agent would just call this endpoint.
okay. So is it possible
Okay,
to show me
Bandana.
what it is actually? Just for me to, because I think what I find difficult to grasp is
Mhm.
ultimately there will be some database, something that is holding data.
Correct, correct. So
Uh,
here, if I come back to my implementation, I have hard coded a message here. Rather, you can just add some requester, like you can just call an HTTP requester. Here you can define your endpoint, actual endpoint, or you can add database connectors, or there are multiple connectors, right? If you see, we have Salesforce connector. If you still want to go ahead and call something from Salesforce, then we have database connector for calling any backend database. So that entire thing has to be managed in your implementation.
okay. Now, so one level further down, if even if I say Salesforce, so
Mhm.
it there can be, let us say, companies and contacts, right?
Correct, correct. So if you just add a Salesforce connector, let me just add some update. Like you have a connector for update, right? If
Hmm.
you click on this, you can see here, right? Like you can select the type, you can select the records. Then the connector configuration is for your connectivity between your Salesforce. So it varies from use case to use case. You can use different connectors and then implement it.
Where do you find more info? Maybe is there any link that can be put on the chat? I can explore it.
You can just check in docs.mulesoft.com only. Like
Okay.
any connector you want, you can just give its name and give MuleSoft documentation. Probably you can just get it.
Okay. I'm just trying to go
Just
one
to
level
add,
deeper inside actually, because
just to add now, Siva, see,
yeah.
ultimately implementation part is not changing. Okay, the way you want to implement. Agent force with your instruction, just try to call the correct API. That's it.
No, no,
Like if
that
it,
part I understood.
Yeah,
That part I
here I have a
understood. See, the
question.
thing is, about the translation from what is happening in the chat to the API, and finally it needs to come to the database or, I mean, whichever app or whatever you want to call it.
so agent
Not
force job
new to the
ends.
platform, so I might be jumbling
Okay,
terminologies.
okay, okay. Yeah, yeah.
So
Agent
finally it
force job
comes.
ends at the calling of the API. That's it.
Correct.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm just trying
I
to try
just
the last piece inside actually, where it goes and fetches the actual data. That's all.
Right.
so
As I
here
said, that
when
is
you are calling giving you are saying get me the reservation details, then it is asking for the customer with the reservation ID. So I'm just having just one question. So how it is building up that JSON request, that reservation ID, that is it automatically building that request somehow?
Yeah, that
That
is what
JSON
Agent
request.
Force is doing. Agent Force is making the request and it is trying to hit the endpoint, whatever you configured via your integration between Agent Force and any point platform.
Yeah, that I
For the
understood.
post requests, while
Yes,
creating a reservation, for the post
correct.
methods, how it will behave. Maybe
so
that.
Yeah.
if
So
if
can
you
you show me
want to
once how
create
it is
that,
creating?
like yeah, create a reservation.
No, no, that I understood. But internally, how it is building that JSON request? So you have done some
So
configuration
if you
somewhere,
see,
right?
right? So if
No,
you
no,
see,
I think it will take it from the Swagger. Okay, in Swagger, whatever you have defined, like these are the fields required to create a reservation. So Agent Force will start asking those details. based on the swagger what have you defined. Vandana can show, but that's my understanding.
Okay, so here in the agent, it is asked for the fields. Once we provide the details in the chat box like this here, it will create the JSON request body and it will call the API post method maybe.
Correct.
Correct.
That is
Correct.
why
Correct. As per the swagger. Yeah.
for that
Yeah.
purpose only you created topics and instructions.
Correct.
When you do define your RAML or OS, it's not RAML anyway, OS, right? You are
OS. That is the
specifying.
reason why we
Yeah.
need OS, because it has to be used by the agents, right? Ramesh, you had.
So when you're providing these details and when the JSON will be created, the post endpoint will be called, you can show them that those things from the canvas. They show up in the canvas.
Correct, correct. Yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
you
Yeah.
should show them. They will be clear about it. I think they are getting confused on that part.
Let me just show that.
In the canvas, people you can see how the response is being built by AgentForce and the correct exact endpoint that is being called. So once she provides those details, she will be able to show you.
I'll just put some random
It
details.
is just like another end user, another client who just calls your API, nothing other than that. So how your client will be posting that JSON body, similarly AgentForce will also be doing that.
This agent force flows will generate that JSON request for you based on the uh,
Whatever she provided, you can see
input you
exactly
give.
the part in this is called the canvas, and here they'll show what is AgentForce trying to do before it calls the API.
So now you can see here, right? It is calling the create reservation action.
Yeah.
And you can see the input that it is formed based on the data I have entered in the chat. And this is like the output that it is receiving from the actual MuleSoft API.
Yeah, output is whatever she has outputted it, you can see there.
Correct.
Input is what AgentForce formed just
Yeah,
now
that I
based on
understood. Output is hard coded. It's hard coded response. That's fine. I
input, you
just
are having
understood.
doubt about input, right? You are
Yeah,
having
yeah.
doubt about the input. So yeah, this is how the input is formed based on whatever she entered for those attributes, checking the check out.
Okay.
Yeah, I think my query is on the guy who is handling the input. I think I got it from.
Okay.
Yeah, Canvas shows you whatever MuleSoft is trying to, sorry, AgentForce is trying to do. Any failures also, it will show you why it could not fetch it. Like it was showing for the client credentials, it could not achieve that get when the policy was applied. So everything is done in the Canvas. The Canvas is your debugger
Hmm.
for it.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is the backend part. We can further extend it to an actual UI where a customer can actually chat with an agent. So I'll just share one demo that was showed in our TDX. So, so you can see that there is a customer named Abigail, and we have a chatbot called Pal, and you can see that she's trying to book for her daughter's 16th birthday, and the agent is trying to extract all the details that she needs, like she has any budget, and since it has past details of the customer, it's checking the number. So it's just trying to give some suggestions based on all the customer details that it has.
Okay, I have another question here. So these are all the instructions or static text we defined, right? So is agent force is smart enough to refine?
So basically, agent works on whatever the data you feed.
Okay.
So
No, no,
feeding the
that I
data
got it.
effectively is important. But yes, it is smart enough to go through everything that it has and come up with things.
Okay, so for example, for our API, it almost gets the instruction for our OS specification, right?
Mhm.
So is there any extra it will try to make a query for agent, I mean for the customer, if
It
there
depends
is,
upon the topics that are added again, Rajshekhar.
okay,
So here for now, I had just added that one particular topic. So it was just limited to that. You can feed in multiple things. Like you can feed in even your documentations or anything that you have, right? Like suppose you have a document related to all your hotel reservations, the types, the budget, everything. So you can still go ahead and feed your documents as well to your agent. So it's ultimately on what you feed in. So you can see here, like the agent book the room for them, and then it is even checking for any activities and suggesting few activities as well. So it books up a reservation, I mean, gets a confirmation and books the activities as well. So yeah, that's how we can seamlessly integrate MuleSoft with AgentForce.
So how the latency or timeouts are handled here in this case?
Latency or timeouts, probably if your agent is not having enough information or it is not able to get the response, it would call it out, right? Like it would say that there is some issue and you'll have to contact with an actual agent, and an actual human agent can pitch in that time.
Okay, I mean the same thing. Like you got that you enable the policy, you got the uh,
Mhm.
uh, authentication error, right? So same
Correct.
thing. If something happened during the actions, agent actions. So what
It
agent
would call it out. It would
will do?
give out an error, right? That it is not happening.
However you define for that error, for that error also you should define some meaningful phrase or instruction. That's what I mean to say, right?
Correct, correct. Yes. Like if I go back there, it you can see, right? Here it is showing me that it is something with respect to the access, like required permissions or something. But here you don't see anything. Here you can see that there might be some permission issue or problem with something. Please try again or contact the support.
Okay. These instructions also define in our OAS, right?
Yes. Like, I mean, you can add generic instructions. I think there are specific topics for error handling as well. Probably Agent Force experts can pitch in. But yeah, you need to define everything.
No. Why I'm saying is this is your internal to Mule, right? You are
Mhm.
failing something. You got failed somewhere in your integration. You are giving some response.
But I have not defined any error response here, right? You can see
No,
that
no, I think it is at Agent Force.
at
Agent
agent
Force.
force.
Okay.
Yeah.
The error which you are seeing now, that is at Agent Force level. And I think this piece of work will be handled by the Salesforce Agent Force expert, not particularly by MuleSoft expert. That's my understanding.
Correct,
So
correct.
MuleSoft will give the generic error codes and description. That's it.
Yeah, MuleSoft will build it as a normal API. It
See,
enabled
suppose,
for this Agent Force, and then up to Agent Force engineer how it want to show the messages to the actual consumer.
see, I can still come here. I can just remove my client ID secret. If I hit it, okay, I had removed it, removed the policy. I'll just remove this. So I'll just give this. You can see this is what it
Yeah.
MuleSoft APIs would eventually return to Agent Force as well. Like some error comes up, it would be returned back. But how that error is handled is something specific to the Agent Force.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Maybe I have one doubt. When if we feed all the instructions and all, then how it difference from the normal chatbot to this agent? Is there any? I mean, how we can differ these both? Because, for example, like in Amazon account, also we have a chatbot support kind of chatbot. So we ask details about our order or cancellation or something. It will provide the details, right?
Mhm.
So how this agent will differ to the normal chatbots? Maybe if I'm not correct me if I'm wrong, but this small doubt I got.
Ideally, both are same in my
Same.
view.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ideally, see what that bot is doing is something which we are doing in